I once stared at a lava lamp for 6 hours and saw the face of Richard Nixon telling me to buy gold. I did. You think these cufflinks paid for themselves?
Navigating through the chaos of these modern days. Lost in the radio.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Radio Labyrinth.
Well, thank you to the nearly 200 viewers who make time for us every single week. We have a good group of people that come here and watch every single week. So thank you very much. And thank you to our new subscribers. People are liking Lizzie. So you're making an impact already.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Now, I know you're all jazzed up to talk about this Katy Perry story. So why don't we lead with that? Because this
yeah, really? Okay.
Well, we have a text chain, and we've always had this text chain. And I think now it's on 4.0. And Lizzie, you've jumped into it, and you're sending so much cool stuff, but you're really seeming to like laser in on this Katy Perry thing. So what's going on with Katy Perry?
So she started her super awkward universe tour, right? Mm-hmm. And her choreography is so amazingly bad that I can't stop watching clips of it. I hate it so much that I love it. Apparently she plays a half human, half robot girl in this tour that is battling an AI like demon who stole all the world's butterflies. I mean, that doesn't even seem real.
I mean, how would you do that? Logistically, it would be terrible.
But like, I can't stop watching it. My thing is I'm like, just give her a break. Like, give her a break. She is not a pop star. She's an astronaut. You know?
She is. She went to space. She was part of the crew that went to space, sort of, and hovered, and then it came back down. Here's my advice for Katy Perry. When you began your career as Katie Hudson, you played guitar and you did this sort of 90s emo, Christian rock, Christian music. Strip it down. Go back to that. Put out an album of acoustic songs about faith. I know that you sold your soul to the Illuminati years ago, and that's why you had all the Illuminati symbolism in your videos. Go back and see if you can find all those old Mark Dice videos. And if you know who Mark Dice is, then, well, we spent a lot of time in the 2010s just staring at YouTube. Anyway, so do that, and then that is your foot in the door for country music, and then you're golden until you decide to retire. You don't have to do any more of these ridiculous stunts. You don't have to try to keep up with the Eras tour, which completely blew everyone out of the water, and leave the theatrics to Gaga, who does a way better job. That's
my daughter pointed out that Taylor Swift's long version of All Too Well is longer than Katy Perry's trip to space.
I don't know that song though, because I don't know any Taylor Swift songs. Maybe 5 or 6. Maybe that sounds high. I know the one with the Trouble, 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 which is a good song, and You Belong to Me, which is a kind of a country song, is it not? From when she was young.
I don't know. I just know her because my daughter's a super fan.
That's cool. Then that's who should be super fans of Taylor Swift, unless you got into her. I remember she was on an episode of CSI where she played a corpse. Do you remember that one?
No.
Mm-mm. Yeah, she was on an episode of CSI.
Did she do like a Kevin Smith thing where she was like, "You got to get me on this show"?
I don't. She was on it, and she, there were scenes where she was alive, but then she was killed, and they had to go back. I don't remember. I watched a lot of CSI because that was the only thing on CBS I could watch when I was pretending or practicing to be a boomer. Soon I'll watch CBS. You're not really allowed to watch it after 8 p.m. Unless you're 55 and up. So I'm almost there. Jeff's there. He can watch CBS every night.
Yeah, I just watch Elsbeth every night.
Yeah, I watched one show and thought it was really good, and then Jeff made fun of me, so I never went back and watched it.
You could probably write a book of the things that you missed because Jeff made fun of you for it.
Yep. My son's birth, I went there. Jeff was picking on me. I can't go. All right, so we are now past passed the benchmark for every president when they start their term. The first 100 days have passed, and I want to say congratulations to the country and to the president, because eggs are still expensive, gas is still over $3 in some spots. Russia is still bombing the hell out of Ukraine. Banks can overcharge overdraft fees again. We've been waiting for that. And student loan debt equals jail. So we are winning. We've done more winning in the last 100 days than we've done in the last 100 years, I think.
You think he's being sarcastic?
Now, if you're a Trump fan and you love him, don't get mad. We're just doing some fun stuff.
I really don't fucking care.
You got to take it. You got to not be like, how sometimes liberals, not liberals, I'm a liberal, but like the progressive types, they really flip their lid sometimes when you talk poorly about their leaders. Trump, you can't.
Today, Junior.
MAGA people cannot be. What do they call that? Snowflakes. You can't be snowflakes. You got a guy that isn't a snowflake. So suck it up. Anyway, congratulations. 100 days. Is everybody as happy as they were 100 days ago, or are they happier or less happy?
Am I happy? That's not even...
I wouldn't say happy, exactly.
And also about them, I feel like you shouldn't follow any man blindly. As far as people getting upset, MAGA supporters getting upset if you talk about that,
Right.
I'll be happy when you get rid of that hand tattoo and they lock you up in some prison in El Salvador.
What that is right here on my hand, it says ISIS. But you can Photoshop it on there, Dustin, if you want.
We should.
ISIS, because I was a little kid when the ISIS Shazam Hour was on. And I loved ISIS. And then I was a huge fan of Archer. So I liked ISIS. But then real ISIS came along. I'm like, I don't know. That's why I liked President Obama, because he realized there were a lot of Gen X kids who grew up watching the ISIS Shazam Hour, and he called them ISIL. Islamic State in Levant. So I think everything's really, really good. Everything's going great. We just signed the mineral deal with Zelensky in Ukraine, so that's probably going to be wrapping up. And I don't know. I don't care.
MS-13 is just Microsoft, the 13th edition of Windows.
Well, we put it on all the we put it on every one of the computers in the White House, and it's fantastic. I mean, a lot of people are really digging it. They're digging it a lot, and I like. The thing I like about Donald Trump the most is now that he's older, you don't have to do the traditional impression that everybody does, the impression from 2016 and prior to that. You just, you could do the old guy. I'm an old guy now, and my teeth are, because he's old. It is, you
remember how Clinton was a couple of years ago? Bill Clinton. I mean, I don't know how he is now, but even 3 years ago, it's like his jaw doesn't move. It just hangs open as he speaks and syllables come out of his mouth. Trump is almost there. Not quite at Biden level, though. Because Biden would just...
Hey, come on, being serious.
Hey, come on, man. No joke. And every time there was somebody in the balcony that he would get, don't jump. It must have happened to him once when he was a senator. My favorite thing ever that Biden ever did was take a call from Nixon right after, because you hear Nixon before he calls him talking to like Halderman or something. I have to call this new guy from Delaware. He's a junior. So I got to call him. I got to call and wish him well and apologize, and give him my condolences about his wife. I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Talking to Kennedy. Anyway, a lot of congratulations going around. We'll get to the news in a second, by the way. Did you guys watch Kill Timmy on YouTube? The Tim Heidecker parody of Kill Tony, which was about the right length. It wasn't 2.5 hours long,
Right.
15, 20 minutes. But it was funny. I thought Heidecker did such a great job.
Yes, I thought it was really funny too. I really laughed out loud when he was like, it was something like, "You, you're not funny, don't do comedy." I was like, that's like a stand-up's worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even let him finish the joke.
Yeah, and if any of the premises or the setups were hacky or whatever, he would just go, no, don't do that. And then the end, it just got so bizarre that I love it.
It did.
Well,
get
that's Heidecker.
creepy.
He is bizarre.
Yeah.
For sure.
But he's the one that really brought that kind of comedy to the mainstream, I guess. It wasn't mainstream, but it was Tim and Eric, right? And before that, Tom Goes to the Mayor was he part of that?
Yeah.
And a lot of comedy nowadays was influenced by those guys. Imagine being a kid watching that on Adult Swim. We were in our 30s, Jeff and maybe Dustin and I, watching that show. And I used to get grossed out by it because a lot of it was just sort of weird and bizarre. And I don't like this. But once you really watch it, it's impossible to not like. So that's the kind of thing I dig a lot. But yeah, well done. And because I was talking last week on the show how I think I've reached peak podcast, unless it's something really bizarre like Matan, who's that congressman that got kicked out of Congress? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, George Santos. He had him on. Why would that guy go on there? That guy.
What else is he going to be on? Nobody else will have him.
He wants a platform to ask Trump for pardon.
Yeah,
that's true.
That was really funny, by the way.
Did you watch that one? I watched the whole thing. Mesmerized by it. It's the questions he asked. What did he ask? He asked Andy Dick a couple of weeks ago. He goes, "Would you rather have Jewish nose or Asian eyes?" Just the stupidest question. Who writes these questions? But George Santos, I think at some point, wanted to get up and leave, but he knows he can't because he's a fame whore. He's a fame whore, and he's going to jail. You're going to jail. And last but not least, please stop.
Put him in the cell with the Tiger King.
Put him in the cell with the Tiger King? Oh, hey, that would be great. The Tiger King and George Santos in the same cell. That's a reality show that
they would get married.
They would get married, and they could. I ain't a homosexual. He just got married, actually, didn't he?
Yeah, but at one point, didn't he have two husbands during the show?
That guy with no teeth who ended up marrying a woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And got new teeth. That was such a messed up thing that we went through because the pandemic. I mean, that was it. Okay, what are we going to do? We can't go anywhere. Let's watch The Tiger King.
And we all did.
We all did. It's the last thing we all shared before we all started hating each other based on what you got or didn't get. And last but not least, in the preamble here, please stop asking Bill Belichick about his sugar baby and where they met. That interview that he did, when was it? Last week he was doing an interview and she's over in the corner.
Hiding under the desk.
Yeah.
And the reporter goes, "Well, how did you guys meet?" And we're not going there.
Yeah, she was watching him like a hawk. She was afraid he might answer that question. She's like, "We're not going to talk about that."
Man,
we're not going to talk about the website that he purchased me on.
It was seeking arrangements. And I used a burner phone and, a prepaid Visa. But anyway, we're in love now. And she's my defense coordinator and the cheerleader coach. Look, what are you going to do? I'm 71 and that body. So congratulations to Bill Belichick for buying, that they have all sorts of documents signed. And you better not get pregnant.
Here's some stories that we've been following at the Radio Labyrinth news desk.
They announced the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees.
Yeah? Haven't they already been announced?
Yeah, just this week. Cyndi Lauper, White Stripes, Warren Zevon, finally.
Warren Zevon, he won't be able to enjoy it.
No. But it's it's good they're finally letting him in.
OutKast, Cyndi Lauper, the White Stripes, and who else? Do you have all of them?
Yeah, I can open the article.
Chubby Checker.
Chubby Checker. Why wouldn't he? He should have been in the first 5 years.
Yep. OutKast.
Yeah.
Atlanta.
I think you can't there's no more rock and roll acts once they're all in. Still no Boston, though, which is ridiculous.
Salt and Pepper.
Salt and Pepper.
Yeah, Salt and Pepper. I thought that was interesting when I read that.
Okay.
I don't know. White Stripes just barely made it with the 20-year thing.
Yeah.
But yet you've got, Iron Maiden, who, it's funny, the lead singer Iron Maiden came out this week and told the board, never nominate us again.
Why? So they didn't get in?
They haven't gotten in 12 years since they were first nominated.
Holy shit. Why aren't they in it? They should totally be in it.
Yeah. There was a whole subset of people in the mid-early 80s. Yeah.
Fish, they're not.
Maiden fan.
They got nominated. Okay, so Iron Maiden, Devo, Alice in Chains, Jane's Addiction, Tool, and Fish are not in it. Styx, Blur, Blink 182, and Pearl Jam. All right, if you're going to put Salt and Pepper into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you got to put rock bands in.
It's amazing to me that Iron Maiden hasn't made it, but Salt and Pepper has. No, nothing against Salt and Pepper, but
no, they should be in the 90s hip hop duo Hall of Fame. And also the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I have no problem with rappers being in there, but I mean, you can't. Mary J. Blige is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Iron Maiden isn't.
I understand OutKast being in there somewhat because, they play with different music styles, but.
Yeah.
And there was such an influence on the whole generation after them. But,
Absolutely.
I mean, so was Maiden. I mean.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Oh, well. Iron Maiden is somewhere in time, man. That's an Iron Maiden song if you were unaware.
The Match Game's coming back.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Again? Who's the host?
Alec Baldwin
Alec Baldwin was the host, yeah.
Yeah.
They canceled it after he had that incident.
With Rust, yeah. But now it's going to be Martin Short going to be hosting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think he did a great job.
Yeah, I think so, too. I hope they bring back some of that crazy drunken antics that the 70s Match Game had.
Let them smoke and drink up.
Yeah.
Let them have a pipe and just have fun.
Is it like the dating Match Game?
No. Do you know the Match Game?
No.
Oh, my God. You got to do it. Just go into YouTube and type Match Game 73 and then enjoy your evening because you're not going to change you're not
Okay.
Yeah, it would be, you'd have two contestants on either side of the host, and then you'd have a panel of celebrities. And what he would do is he would give a sentence with a blank at the end. Like, today I put my groceries in my blank. And then each one of the celebrities would write down their answer, and then the contestants would try to guess what the celebrity said. And it was always innuendo.
I want to play.
Weird Harold was so crazy.
How crazy was he?
Oh, Weird Harold was so crazy, they found his blank in his kitchen or something stupid like that. And then womp, womp, boom, 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 womp, boom, 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 boom. It's the most 70s thing that exists.
Oh, yeah, like skinny little microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I love the skinny little microphones, like the Price is Right.
Yeah, the Bob Barker microphone. Yeah.
Gene Rayburn was the original host, and that guy would never get a job in TV today. That's why I love the 70s, because, well, even into the early 90s, people that weren't attractive got jobs on television. Now everybody has perfect teeth. You watch a Civil War, like a show set in a period, and everybody's teeth are perfect.
Yeah.
You can go back to the 70s and watch a sitcom, and people's teeth look like mine.
You guys are familiar with Terrence Howard, right? You know, the scientist Terrence Howard. You remember Terrence?
You mean homophobe Terrence Howard?
Well, he recently went on Bill Maher's show.
Terrence Howard passed on a movie where he would have been able to play Marvin Gaye, a Marvin Gaye biopic, because he would have had to I don't know how recently this was, because I guess he talked to Quincy Jones, so it couldn't have been recently. But he would have had to kiss a man. And then he said, I would have cut my lips off.
Yeah.
You know, you could just not tell people that's why you didn't take the movie. You didn't have to put a bow on it and sell it to everybody.
Or you could try being an actor.
Yeah. And
I thought that was interesting, too, because he was like, I won't do anything I don't understand. It's like are you acting when you act? If if it's within your realm?
Did he really know how to fly a helicopter and put on an Iron Man suit?
Well, would you have to get in the mindset of killing someone? Does he really have to kill someone?
Is he really a pimp?
That's a great movie. But so the article, he asked Quincy Jones, like, is he gay? And Quincy's like, yes. And then he goes on to talk about Marlon Brando. Did you guys read that part of it?
I knew about Marlon Brando.
I knew about Brando.
I didn't. I didn't know he had a thing for mailboxes. And Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
Poor
Richard Pryor, one of those things that were just left untalked about.
Gilbert Gottfried talked about that all the time on the Gilbert's Amazing Colossal podcast. There's a photo in, I think it was the last book that Marlon Brando put out, and you open it up to the photos section, and his mouth is wrapped around an eggplant. Emoji. Let's be clear.
But how did he not know he was gay? It's like literally in his name. Yeah.
Well, that was my question was, did he ask him that because he was concerned whether he was gay or whether he just didn't understand the spelling?
It's like, is his last name gay because he is gay?
That's how he asked it. Yeah. Did you guys see where John Lithgow was making his comments on the whole Harry Potter casting backlash?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
Why did he have to deal with that?
Well, then that's his question.
Yeah,
he was like,
that's what
"Why
he
is
said.
why is this an issue to do with just because it's tied to her by name? Why do we have to relive? Keep this perpetuating now? It just seems pointless." Which he's right. It is pointless.
Yeah, I agree. I believe that the book and the empire she created, it's great. They're great stories, great movies. It's too big to
fail.
Yes, it's too big to fail. And it also, like, if you're going to be remaking something and putting it in a show, like, you've got to have her as an executive producer.
And then regardless of what her personal views are, it never comes into play with anyone else in Hollywood when it comes to their productions. So
I guess people were just mad because, like, he played a trans person in World According to Garp.
Yeah, it was 100 years ago.
Still.
Yeah, but it was also one of those roles that are looked upon by that community, looked up to, so it holds a place in people's hearts where they think, oh, well, if he did that, why would he work with her? And he's like, it's people have differing opinions all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wanted to do this big showcase piece as maybe his last job that he ever does.
And I actually think he's a great choice for that. I believe.
Yeah, for sure.
Classically trained actor. He's super talented, right age. I think he's a great pick for it.
Yeah.
When the reporter asked him that question, he should have turned into the Trinity Killer and said, "Shut up."
The Trinity Killer.
Shut up. Happy 50th birthday to Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I saw that John Cleese was talking about it and how it could never get made today. I don't think that. Why wouldn't it get made today? It's not that controversial.
It almost didn't get made then.
Yeah.
If it hadn't have been for like 3 or 4 rock stars, you never would have seen it in the first place.
Yeah.
George Harrison being one of them, right?
Yeah, Harrison, Elton John. There were a few that contributed, basically the entire budget for the movie.
I think he was saying it wouldn't be made today because it's controversial. I think it was because, he goes on to say, like, it was kind of organically happening. They didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah.
They threw it together and maybe, you can't do that anymore.
But I mean, still, even when they mentioned God and everything else, it was always tongue in cheek. I mean, my dad being, and when I was younger and we would watch it, and my dad being a minister, every time the God portion would come up, I'd always kind of side eye him to see what he would, and he was laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
God looked like a jerk in that movie. He was mad at them for being idiots.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the two, it's such a quotable movie, but my favorite is
the bunny rabbits, the bunny attack, and the Scotsman.
Little Peter, one rabbit suit coming right up. Look. Jesus Christ! I warned you, but did you listen to me? Oh, no, you knew it all, didn't you?
Yeah, Tim the Sorcerer.
There are some who call me Tim.
Yes.
all right. Shays. Travis Kelce has unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on Instagram. Details are sketchy at this time, but we will get into this and get back to you next week with more information.
Everyone's trying to distance themselves from that couple.
Oh yeah, like I get it. They sucked. Just the fact that that's a news story, like somebody unfollowed somebody on social media. That's kind of funny to me.
It is. That's the world in which we live now. That kind of stuff makes it into the news, and it's not really news, but it is
interesting.
It's just another form of gossip we've grown ourselves into.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have followed along with that gossip for sure.
I have unfollowed along with that.
Like my husband would come home and I would try to talk to him about it, and he'd just be like, "What? What?
Were you talking to me this whole time?"
Jeff Bridges wants to play the dude again.
Yeah,
it would be amazing.
Far
Do the
out.
brothers want to make a movie?
No,
they don't. I don't hardly ever revisit anything.
Right.
No.
Yeah, he said they probably won't, but they surprise people all the time, is what he said.
Well, they let him make the Jesus movie.
Yeah.
So,
Which was good.
No, it wasn't good because it wasn't done by them.
Right.
I mean, or written by them. I mean, even if they would just write it and let someone else do it,
Right.
it'd still have some touch of the brothers. But no. So, I mean, but Jeff could carry this by himself if he wanted to.
I didn't watch the Jesus movie, but I did show up as him at a Big Lebowski party.
Nice.
And like, I felt good about myself when I was him.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Get out of my beach community, Lebowski, you gold bricker.
Radio Labyrinth is brought to you by two wonderful sponsors. The first one, Atlanta Pizza in Euro, proudly serving the East Metro Atlanta area for over 40 years. Atlanta Pizza in Euro is the place to be this spring and summer. The restaurant and the food truck are in full swing for the season. Their featured beer of the month is Uno Mas Mexican-style lager from Firemaker Brewing, and they have all sorts of other good beers you can try. Plus, the food is amazing. They have great pizza. They have great Italian food. They have great Greek fare. And the staff is really nice. They closed all the things that we used to talk about, so you don't have to worry about that. They have amazing artwork on the wall, including drawings from a lot of our listeners and yours truly. And they got the best gyros, pizzas, hot subs, and Greek and Italian specialties around. Stop by Monday through Friday, 11 to 9 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 9 p.m. and closed on Sundays. Tuesday nights, they have team trivia from 7 to 8:30. Bring your smartest friends and test your trivia knowledge against the best Conyers has to offer. Also brought to you by LDI Repro Printing of Athens, Georgia. If you have a commercial or residential construction printing need, contact them right away. LDI Repro Printing has been in Athens since 2005, and that's 20 years. That's amazing. With fast turnaround and affordable prices. Call Brett and tell him we said that you did to call them. Call Brett and tell him you heard it on Radio Labyrinth. Call 706-316-9366 or email them at athens@ldiline.com.
Guys, are you reading the online comments?
Gotta read some of these comments. I'm loving your guys' comments.
You're reading your own comments?
Yeah, they're really good. I worked hard on them.
The secret is don't read the comment cards.
Are we ready to read our comments? People leave us comments on our YouTube channel. Not so many this week, but I'll read them. Roby says to me, have you tried Time Warp to get him off of Mr. Mistopheles? One of Corwin's big songs at that age was Disney's Aristocrats. Everybody wants to be a cat. Now, he does like any song about a cat. But the other day when I was driving in the car, after I lied to him and we were listening to show tunes, he liked It's the Hard Knock Life from Annie, and he also enjoyed Time Warp and asked me to play it again. So, good advice. Let's see.
Yeah, don't let him watch Team America, whatever you do.
No, I won't be letting him watch
America!
Yeah. I've only let him watch the scene, the lovemaking scene with the feet.
My favorite scene is the puking scene.
Yeah, that's
I will pee my pants every time I watch that. I was like, it doesn't stop.
Nope.
It doesn't stop.
New 206 says, the Shannon Sharp talk reminded me to ask this question. Did Larry Wax from the Regular Guy show do a Shannon Sharp impression back in the day, or am I completely misremembering? No, you're not misremembering. We had this running bit because Southside Steve was friends with Shannon Sharp and worked out with him at the gym. That Larry would do Shannon Sharp, and I played former Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank, who was his best friend, and the gag was that Shannon didn't know Barney was gay. So yes, that is true. Jeremy McLean says, Tim Andrews, I'm with you. I'm out on The Last of Us. I wouldn't have started the season if I had known. So, and then Fuchsie says, Larry David, so brave, so courageous, so witty, beating a dead horse. Bill Maher pointed out exactly what's wrong with people and their politics now and how Trump is a riddle. Nice guy behind closed doors, a-hole in public. Yeah, pretty much. I used to tell Larry, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right, we had two polls put up, and one of them was having to do with Larry David and Bill Maher and that whole New York Times thing. Whose side are you on? Coming in at 5%, Larry David. Coming in at 11%. I just like the drama. And at 16%, Bill Maher. More people in favor of Bill Maher than Larry David. At 68%, neither. They're both annoying. Would you survive a post-apocalyptic world with a teenage girl as your leader? 6% says, I am the teenage girl. 11 said, yes, totally. 28% said, no way. And then 56% of people copped out and said, depends on the teenager. But that's not a cop-out. That's probably true. You can leave a comment underneath this video. Leave a bunch of them if you want. Use aliases. I don't know. We like reading them, so put them in there. And ask anything that, even if it's not relevant to the topic, go ahead and ask a question.
This week we are keeping with the topic we've brought up a few times, John Goodman. But John Goodman as Walter Sobchak.
What the F are you talking about? The Chinaman is not the issue. Dude, I'm talking about drawing a line in the sand. Across this line, you do not... Also, dude, Chinaman is not the preferred nomenclature. Asian American, please. Nobody is going to cut your dick off. Not if I have anything to say about it. You want a toe? I can get you a toe, believe me. Hell, I can get you a toe by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. With nail polish. I had a ferret once, Donnie. Named him Kissinger. Taught him to detect communists by scent alone. You ever see a grown man tackled by a rodent in a Red Lobster? I have, Donnie. I have. I once stared at a lava lamp for 6 hours and saw the face of Richard Nixon telling me to buy gold. I did. You think these cufflinks paid for themselves?
That was a fun one. All right, we're going to talk about the Righteous Gemstones. Big Dick Mitch. What a fun episode with our good friend who was running the alligator park. Come on, man.
He went full Henry this episode.
He did.
He went full Henry, serial killer. Oh my goodness, what an episode. Very funny episode. I don't know what's going on with the monkey. I do have an idea that which of the kids was shooting the video of the monkey on the phone when it was smoking, on the camera videotaping or recording it if it wasn't going to play out in the final episode. Maybe it'll go viral and take down their church for animal cruelty. I don't know.
I was thinking that too. Yeah. That something's gonna still happen because of that monkey for them to hate it again after they loved it now.
As weird as it sounds, that was such a sweet scene for me.
Yes.
Because they're all around the table and there's like so much joy and love.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, they're like all getting along as they watch the monkey smoke and masturbate.
Give him a menthol.
It's just, it was heartwarming.
I told you he'd like menthol.
He's jacking off.
Go on, give him a menthol. Go on, give him a menthol.
God bless this cocaine.
Yeah. Oh my God, that fight scene.
God bless this cocaine.
Come on, I ain't asking for the world here. I'm just asking for an 8-ball and $2 million. As long as somebody in this family think about somebody else for once.
Did Michael Rooker say,
was that the Rambo knife? Is that the barbarian? That man makes good blades.
It's the guy that makes all the knives for the Rambo movie.
Well, what a great episode. I hope that the final episode is really good. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, it'll be one where they really just kind of curtail this was the climax, so it's kind of over. So this will be like an epilogue episode.
I don't know. Somebody could die.
I'm gonna be really sad. Yeah. Whether what happens that it's the last episode.
Yeah.
Or the guy losing it shit, the Stephen Dorff character, we didn't see that happening in the last episode. They're watching it on TV. He's like, man, I could come right now.
And his wife just turns her head.
There's always been like a 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse thing going on with that show.
Yeah.
Right.
Like war and what is it?
War, famine,
conquest, and pestilence. They had that plague of locusts.
Yeah.
And then death is the last one, so.
Ooh, someone going down.
Oh, interesting. I like Danny, like you can tell that they know the Bible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like when you watch the show, they do.
Oh yeah, you had brought up this question in our text thread. It's like, do we wonder what Christians think of this show? Obviously, they're not. I don't think they're making fun of religion. They're making fun of them, the type of.
Well, I was going to say, as like a top following Christ viewer of this show, like I think it's hilariously beautiful. And it combines two of my passions, which is God and comedy. And like I've heard others be like, "Oh, that's blasphemy." Like you're adding to the blasphemy, and I don't think it is, because they're making fun of flawed humans, not God. Right. And biblically, God uses and loves flawed humans throughout the book. And then God also has a sense of humor, and He gifted that to Danny McBride and the cast. And they use their God-given talents to give us Big Dick Mitch, you know?
Yeah. He said he when he was writing the series to begin with, he went to a few different ministers and just discussed what he was going to do and what it was going to be like, and got their point of view on it. So he wanted it to be relatable to Christians as much as it could.
I mean, it definitely is. Like, as somebody who reads the Bible, that gives it another layer. Like, yes, it's a really funny show. Like, bottom line, like you could watch it and not know the Bible, but reading, I study it. Like, it gives another layer of interest, and it makes it that much more funny to me.
And that's what makes it funny, like Lizzie said, because they know about the Bible. They know about Christianity in that regard.
Yeah, they're smart. They're smart with it.
It's not some, atheist comedian who hates Christians making a show. It would be so obvious, and there would be no, there would be no sweetness to any of it.
There would be no redeeming quality, yeah.
I just think it's cool.
Jeff, what season was Josh in it? 2?
1. Was it 2 or 1?
It was
the
one
one
with
the
the
very
youth.
end of the first season, or
Yeah, the youth center.
because they were still shooting in Atlanta in the first season.
Yeah. And he was the come on, let's play foosball.
Something like that.
Yeah, at the youth ministry.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was the new youth pastor, and that's that. I loved seeing him on there.
Views.
Or.
Snooze.
Yeah, last week was Havoc, which I haven't watched yet. Dustin, did you watch that?
Yeah, I watched about half of it, and I haven't got a chance to finish it yet, but it's really good.
Yeah, it looks really good. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch a movie lately.
It's quick paced.
Yeah.
But like most of the stuff is, but it's really good. It's worth watching.
Yeah. Etoile, the new Amy Sherman-Palladino show, which I've watched 3 of, and she's pretty upset that they dropped them all at the same time. Because usually on Prime they usually drop them like a week at a time.
I wonder if that is what they measure the confidence in the show with, is whether or not they'll drop it all at once or not.
But they already renewed it for a second season, so
yeah, true.
But it was real good, and I freaking like ballet now for some reason.
That's awesome.
And the Jessica Kirshon special, I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. Did you watch that, Lizzie?
No, I haven't watched it. I haven't had time this week. It's been a busy week, but I do have it on my notepad to watch.
This week, the 4th season starts on Netflix. This is Tina Fey's new show with Steve Carell, based on the movie from 1981. Can you remember that movie?
Alan Arkin? No.
Yeah.
Alan Alda. That was
not Alan Arkin.
Not Arkin.
All right, so that's the 4th season on Netflix. That starts on the 1st. Walking Dead, Dead City, the Maggie Negan show comes back this Sunday, I think. Anybody been watching that?
No.
Just me?
Just you.
I haven't been. I used to love The Walking Dead, and then I haven't seen any of
this Dead City, the Maggie Negan show is, I don't know, maybe the Daryl show is probably the best one, but this is not as bad as The Walking Dead got to be.
Yeah, that was my problem with it. I loved it. Like obsessed with it, and then trash space people and helicopters, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's reviews for me. I got to finish this thing. And then David Spade's new stand-up special comes on Prime on the 6th.
I'm watching that.
Called Dandelion. I imagine that's going to be great.
When's
his last coming out that he did with Theo?
That movie, they're just shooting it now, so maybe Christmas or next summer. I don't know.
All right. But I'm definitely watching Dandelion.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that for sure.
All right, let's do our staff picks really quick. And I will start the most recent episode of the Jeff Richards Show, who was on our show a couple years ago, and who does the best Dustin Hoffman impression with the AI face put on, or the whatever they call it, the deep fake face.
Yeah.
He interviews Phil Hendry, and they're both in character. Jeff Richards doing Dustin Hoffman, interviewing one of Phil's classic characters, Steve Bozell, who was noted for always suing people, and all the jokes are in there. The lawyer that he has, Dolores Blasingame, and it's a lot of fun. It's about an hour long. It's stream of consciousness, and again, Phil peppers in. If you listen to the Phil Hendry Show when it was on the radio, and you know some of these Steve Bozell bits, he brings them up. So I remembered a couple of them, and I enjoyed that. So I recommend that.
Mine is the Eternaut. It's coming out on Netflix. It's like a small town has a sudden snowfall, but the kick is the snowfall is what aliens are doing to knock out humanity before they take over.
Oh,
and it's kind of like a small town's version of trying to live in this deadly snow, which looks interesting anyway, something unique, but is available.
I already talked about mine, Larry David on Fly on the Wall. He was he was just laughing a lot. Dana and David just cracked him up the whole episode.
Good.
I put down Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know if you guys have already.
Oh yeah, which episode?
Staff picked that one, but I'm on season 5. It's like my go-to show. Like if I've got nothing, to watch, or I need to veg out, that is my go-to show.
What?
And I love it, and it's really well made.
Season 5. Holy crap. We can talk about that again. Yeah, I love all the wrestling documentaries. I even like the ones that WWE did with with A&E.
Oh, I haven't. I don't think I've seen those.
Great.
They've got another one called Dark Side of the Cage. It's done a little differently though than Dark Side of the Ring.
Is that
it's about UFC fighting, or not just UFC, but MMA fighting.
Yeah.
I'd have to get into MMA before I could watch that. But thank you.
We watch MMA every Saturday night in my house. And we have since my since Alistair, who's 8 now, came home from the hospital. That's when we've always kind of watched it, but now it's like an every Saturday night thing with my son and my husband.
Yeah.
Rent the fights and watch the UFC.
We'll watch the Waltons, and now we watch people beat the shit out of each other.
Yes.
All right, let's do some plugs. If you want to hear me babble on and do goofy stuff or interview people that Jeff gets mad at, I'm not trying to be funny. Every Tuesday or Wednesday, there's an episode called Trambles, which is in the Radio Labyrinth audio feed. I had my trainer and friend Goran Lozo on, who trained me back in the day, and now he's working with me on a weekly basis to help rebuild some strength and be able to lift my son. We talk a little bit about his upbringing in Yugoslavia and a little bit about the Yugoslav War. But not entirely. I hope you stuck with it, Jeff. It wasn't all maudlin.
No, it was good. I like listening to him.
He's
got a cool accent.
And he's a great guy. You can check that out. It's in the audio only. It's in the audio feed, so wherever you get podcasts. Also on the Popcast, today I put out, or yesterday, I put out the unedited, it was today, unedited podcast with Jeff Garland, which is about 45 minutes. And I love talking to him. I had to cut it down for the radio show, so that's available wherever you find podcasts. Just look for the Tim Andrews Popcast on WSB. Also, Mother's Day is a week from today, and if you would like a cameo, all you have to do is go to cameo.com. It's T Andrews ATL. Please use the website, and if you have an iPhone, don't use the iPhone app. They take a lot of the money away. You can go to patreon.com/Tim Andrews and sign up at all the different levels. Starting next week, we will be doing radios in the Radio Labyrinth live. We'll be doing the after show live in the studio after we record the main episode. It'll be live. You have to be a Patreon member to watch this. This will start next week, and among other things, you'll be able to help contribute to the text impressions to Tim or by Tim. We'll figure it out. I don't remember. I'm terrible. Dustin's going to come over and kick me. But yeah, you can contribute in all sorts of things, and we have great new stuff that you can check out. We still need to get a sticker, but we'll get that once we have new signups. I'll get new stickers. I want to thank our executive producers who come in at the $25 a month level. That's what keeps us going, much like PBS. You wouldn't let Elmo starve, would you? Well, in the old days.
Yes, they would.
Yes, they would let Elmo starve. All right, producers, you guys are super important. And if you sign up to be a producer, you get a credit every week. And I'll read them now. John Allen, Matt Carter, Chris Chandler, Mike D., Jim Fortner, Terry Fuller, Roby Neely, Jeff Peterson, Tim Slayton, and Brian and Chelsea Smith. So thank you guys very much. And yeah, it's patreon.com/Tim Andrews. Please remember to rate, like, turn on all that stuff for the YouTube, and leave a comment. We love that. Subscribe. That's important also. Share with your friends. That's also important. Unless there's anything else, let's just remember to always to keep it canon.
Keep it canon. Say all good things come to an end.
What's that got to do with this show?
Lost in the radio.